Today, we are talking all about how to finally start your project and let go of that perfectionism that's holding you back. I was raised a complete perfectionist, and it is so difficult sometimes to just get started and know that 80%, 70%, even 50% is often okay. Just getting something out there is much better than putting it off forever and putting nothing out there, right? So today is a little bit of a pep talk to help you get started. And I'm going to talk honestly about my process of starting this podcast because I put it off for a very long time. In fact, I actually wanted to start a vlogging and YouTube channel years ago, but I didn't do it. And the daft thing is, I still regret not starting it. And so this is why I'm starting now. I'm starting later than I wanted to, but I really, really wanted to share this process and this journey with you so that hopefully it inspires you to get started as well. So when it comes to starting something, we often tell ourselves all these little lies about the perfect timing. Maybe we'll start when, I don't know, we have more skills. But that's a lie because you learn how to do things by doing it. Like, there's only so many books you can read or YouTube tutorials you can watch on a thing. You learn so much more by trying and even failing. And failing isn't a bad thing. It's actually one of the biggest ways that we grow. Don't wait to be more skilled or to know more because honestly, you're going to learn much more by doing the actual thing. And I guess one of the reasons why we might not start is because we'll say we'll do it when we're ready. But I don't know about you, but I feel like I am never really ready. I will plan things. I will spend loads of time researching them. Like for these podcasts, I make notes of the topics I want to talk about so that I don't lose my train of thought. That just helps me stay focused, right? But am I ready? No. Like this morning, my home office, my little studio where I work and where I record these is so warm. I would rather not be recording when it's super hot. And oddly, it's also really cloudy and rainy because it's like a thunderstorm day today, which is fab. Love a thunderstorm. But it's impacting my setup. And I just feel like normally I would be saying to myself, do you know what? We should wait. We should wait until the lighting's better. We should wait until there's not potentially the sound of rain hammering on the windows. And I should really wait until it's not so warm because I feel clammy as hell. But you're never going to get those perfect conditions, right? I feel like that you're never going to be ready. So there are many ways we can almost lie to ourselves that we are not ready, that we need to do more before we can start. And honestly, it's a myth that it'll ever be perfect. Things won't ever be perfect because perfection is almost an unattainable goal and it holds us all back. So as someone who is a recovering perfectionist, it has taken me a long time to realize that you can't just plan things to perfection. And I love planning. I love a spreadsheet. I love a document. But you can't just plan things till they're perfect. And at some point you just have to sit back and go, this is good enough. This is good enough. When I did my fine art photography, it was a big lesson I had to learn because you can tweak forever. I would often be in Photoshop with many, many, many layers. And I would often look at it and go, it's not finished. I don't know why, but it's not finished. And I realized I was being a perfectionist. And the time for me to know when it was done was when I could step back and just look at it and go, yeah, I like that. I like that. Might not be perfect, might not, but it doesn't need to be. And the reason it doesn't need to be is because we are our own worst critics. We are our own worst critics. There'll be things about you or your work that you will notice and you might beat yourself up over that other people don't notice, or maybe other people actually really like that thing about you. One of my favorite things about creators and artists out in the world is when they show the messy process of how they get to a thing. I don't want to see just the highlight reel. I don't just want to see the perfect output. I want to see the journey because that journey is often in the creative industries and in the arts is what makes the thing special, right? In a world of AI where people are churning out terrible images from things, you know, sure, it might pass for something, but it's not art, right? It's not. the thing that makes something art, the thing that makes something beautiful is that human journey, the emotions, the care, the love, the passion that goes into that thing. And so share your journey, share the process, share your demo, share something, even just talk about the thing you're doing, because people love to follow that journey and they'll become more invested in it. And at the end of the day, sharing something, even if it's not perfect, is better than sharing nothing or not even starting. So I want to give you a little bit of an example from my experience, so you can probably relate. I alluded to this in the welcome episode that I did. I have wanted to do a podcast for, well, this one has been for at least 6 months, maybe getting on to a year was when I started thinking about it. And previously, I really wanted to start a vlog where I was going to take people out on my adventures around Scotland and show the behind the scenes of how I created all my photography. And I really wanted to do it. And even for the photography vlog, I bought all the gear, but something stopped me from doing it. And it was the exact same thing that stopped me starting this podcast sooner. And honestly, I look at it and go, I'm feeling like a lot of people will relate. So I'm going to be very vulnerable, very honest, and just share what happened. Because I'm a recovering perfectionist, I wanted things to be perfect. You look on YouTube and you see people's studio setups and they are insane. The lighting is phenomenal. They've got all these little like lighting glowy panels on the shelves and things. They've got art on the walls. They've got so many things. And what do I have? I have some cheap IKEA units. I have Bethesda fangirl things and a lot of vampire books and video game things. I don't really have the backdrop that everybody else seems to have. I have a very cheap mic on my desk. I do have a decent webcam because I thought that was important. But yeah, I just felt like it wasn't good enough, right? I felt like I needed to do more to make it look better and to sound better. And then I got this crippling fear of basically just putting myself online, because I don't know about you, but the internet can be a terrifying place to be, which is funny for someone who's been a CTO and, is very technical. It's an odd thing for me to say, but, the internet is really, really intimidating, especially as a queer woman, often working in tech. The creative industry is usually more welcoming, but it just often doesn't feel like a safe place to be. And so I often get scared of putting myself out there in this format because I'm worried of what people will say. And it's took me a long time to realize that, nice comments are lovely. We all love the nice comments when someone compliments what you've said, how you've made a thing, if they compliment your work, if they compliment how you look, it gives you a little boost, right? But you can receive 1,000 good comments and that one negative one will still weigh heavier. It's the one your brain will focus on. And that's often because your brain, it's looking for confirmation, right? It's looking for confirmation bias. If you feel deep down you're not good enough and you believe that, then as soon as one person, just one, says, well, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Your lighting's crap, your studio looks terrible, whatever it is, the audio's not perfect enough, your mixing's rubbish, whatever it is that they might say, that is almost like confirmation for your brain, because this is what you've also been telling yourself. And our brains love confirmation. Our brains do not like to be wrong. Our brains want to be correct all the time. And so we stay in our little safe place, because if we have doubts, well, if we put it out there, what if that one mean person on the internet confirms those doubts? And so, yeah, that's why I didn't start the podcast for a very long time. I was genuinely really worried about what people would say. Lots of people do put stuff out there and they get the negative comments too. I know people who are influencers and, people who are pretty famous online, and they get those comments too, but they don't let it stop them. They don't let it stop them. They power through. And that is what we need to do, right? We need to learn to ignore the negative people, because that's them just projecting their own meanness into our world. That doesn't say anything about us. That says more about them. So I'm doing this big leap of faith and I'm trying to not fear the internet, the comments section, what people might say, because sure, there might be negative comments from time to time, but that doesn't change my world, that doesn't change me putting something out there. And I'm hoping by being brave, I will get more resilient. We shall see. You can follow along with me on that, and we can maybe check in 6 months and see how I'm doing on it. But for you guys, I want you all to feel not only empowered to do the thing, I want you to know that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to worry what people might say, because that's very human. Those people that look super confident online, quite often they will receive these negative comments and it hurts, but they still do the thing. And I want you to do the thing, and I want me to also do the thing. So if you're scared of getting started because of any of those reasons, please just take a moment and think about what you want. Think about what would make you feel proud. If it would make you feel proud to start that project, finish that artwork and put it out there, finish it as best you can, but don't worry about it being perfect. Whether you just want to put some sketches online or a rough draft of something, just do it, because each time you do it, you will improve your skills and you will get better and better at that thing. And people love to see that journey. So in starting this podcast, I've mentioned that I was waiting for all the perfect conditions. And one of the things that really helped me was to think about what I actually want to achieve with this and why I'm doing it, right? And the same will be for you for any project. What do you want to achieve from it? What's your goal? For me with this, I often help businesses, so often game studios, but also wider creative industries, or people using maybe games related technology or VR to produce something creative or educational. And when I go to those big companies, I help them and their team. And I'll often speak at events, and maybe a bit of advice helps 100 people in a room, 50 people. And quite often I'm asked the same questions, and I'll also get emailed questions by people who need a bit of help with something. Say it's imposter syndrome, burnout, the usual things. And I realized that I can't help as many people as I would like to, because I don't have the bandwidth, right? I can't reply to every email. I can answer some questions at an event, but there's many, many people out there that could benefit from some of the advice, even if it's just a bit of inspiration. And so my reason for starting the podcast is this is my way of helping people who maybe can't afford a coach. Maybe they're just leaving uni and don't really know how to start. Maybe you're looking at starting a business and, you're living on your savings and you can't afford someone to help you out, but you just need that little bit of advice. By doing this podcast, I can help people, and I can do that at zero cost to that person. And so that's my goal with this. It's to help at least one person. If any of these episodes land with just one person, I will be stoked, because that's the goal. And that goal is tiny, right? I just need one person to see it and find it helpful. And so this is why I've started it. And I know it's maybe not perfect, and that's okay. I know my lighting could be better for the video version. That's also okay. And I know probably the editing and the formatting could be better. But you know what? I'm going to learn as we go, and it's all good. So this is me. I'm starting the difficult thing. I know it's not perfect. I know that's okay. And I'm really hoping this encourages you to start your thing, whatever that is, be a new work project, a hobby, anything. Start it and go on this journey with me, because I promise you will feel so glad you started. So I kind of want to summarize, because honestly, I've blathered on for a bit there. But I think those messy beginnings, these rubbish starts at things, that having a go is really, really important. They teach you faster than planning ever will. They'll quiet that critic in your brain, the thing that tells you you're not good enough, you can't, it will be rubbish. They'll quieten that. They will quieten it, and you will feel more and more confident. If you are in the creative industries, we all feel the same. We all feel like things need to be better than they can be or they should be. And by putting out something that isn't quite perfect, you're inspiring and empowering other people to do the same. And maybe together we can make the internet more of a honest, authentic, real place, and not just this perfect highlights reel that you see all over social media. Let's be vulnerable. Let's be real. Let's show our real journeys, because people resonate with that. The messy beginnings are super important, because they give you permission to iterate, trial and error, see how things go, and change. if you obsess over the planning and never do things, you could end up with this huge plan. So I could have done that with this podcast, right? I could have planned a year's worth of content, but I don't know where it's going to be in a year. Heck, I don't even know where it's going to be in a month or two. And so obsessive planning wouldn't help. You don't need to over plan. You don't need to worry about that perfection. Just, again, do enough to get started and sort of go with the flow a bit. And the messy beginnings will help you do that. And then you won't feel tied to this original idea that maybe that's not what you actually want to do. Just make your own path through it and see where that journey takes you. It is so much easier to do baby incremental steps than it is to try and learn everything and then do like one big step up. It's really difficult to do that one big one, right? And there's a risk you might fall, and if you fall from that, it's going to hurt a lot more. If you trip on a step or if you just fall a little bit, it's easier to pick yourself back up and carry on. And so start with the little incremental ones. Just do those little baby steps and you'll find it so much easier. And then in terms of those messy steps, I want you to think about your favorite creators, your favorite YouTubers, podcasters, artists, game developers, whoever they are. Have a look. See how they started, because I guarantee they won't be as polished or as refined as they are now. Their audience will have been smaller. They will have got criticism. In fact, they probably still do. Some of their work, you might look at it and go, oh, that's a bit cringeworthy. And, I'm probably going to look back on these podcast episodes in 6 months' time and go, oh God, like, what was I even thinking? But you've got to start somewhere, right? And you've got to grow. And so please remember that even the best artists, the best creators, the best designers, the best writers, they all started somewhere. I also want you to remember that even the best people in the world at doing any of these things, they will also still have those days. Like I had this morning where I wasn't sure whether I actually wanted to record today. And I already feel better for having started, frankly. I knew I would, and I just had to push through that little barrier. I've seen some of my favorite YouTubers post recently that they're struggling with burnout or just that hurdle of getting in front of the camera. Even the top YouTubers have this issue. So please don't let it stop you, because it's such a common thing and we all face it. And so in case you need it, here is like a little permission slip. This is your little pep talk to say it's okay. You don't need to have everything figured out. You do not need to have the best gear in the world. You don't need the perfect backdrop, lighting, or studio. You don't need the best paintbrushes. Whatever you record, if you're a podcaster, it doesn't need to sound like a flippin' TED Talk. You don't need to know your 5-year plan. You don't need to know your 6-month plan. You might even need to know your month plan. Just get started and see how the thing evolves. Just take that one step, and then another, and then another. All right, well, thank you for joining me for today's episode. Please do start that thing. Whatever it is, please start it. Don't worry about it being perfect. Try to let go of that. I want you to start this thing and join me on the journey, because I'm literally starting it right now with this podcast, and who knows where it's going to evolve. We're letting go of the perfectionism. We are starting, and we're just going to run with it. We are just going to run. And I want you to do the same with whatever it is you've been wanting to start, but you haven't felt maybe the courage to do so. Start it with me. Join me on this journey. And if you head to gothboss.co.uk/podcast, I've put a little form on there for you all to get in touch. If you start something, please drop me a message. And, if I can, I will read them out in the future. You're also more than welcome to send me questions. So if there's something you really need help with, pop it in there. And what I'll do is I'll sort of group them and try and do theme topics at various points. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I really hope this hits home. If you think it can help someone, please share this episode with a friend. If you can hit subscribe, that would be great. Any likes, anything, any comments, just anything to help me start spreading the word out there, because remember, my goal is to help one person. So if I can get a single like, I'm like, job's done. We have succeeded. On to the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, I am going to be talking all about imposter syndrome, because it's something I've struggled with over the years. When I mentioned I was going to start this podcast, it was the biggest thing that people ask me about. So I want to tackle that one as early as I can and try and help some of you with it. All right, that's enough for me today. I will see you in the next episode. Have a lovely day. See you later.